All right, Dennis, let's talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels men's basketball team.
Oh, them.
Where to start? Okay, so
actually, I know where to start. Are they making the NCAA tournament? Yes or no?
No.
I don't think so.
I just don't see it, man. It's, they have a few games left. Notre Dame, Florida State, Virginia, Duke. You should beat Notre Dame and Florida State.
Yeah, both those games are on the road.
Both those games on the road. You have Virginia, top 10 team in the nation, at home. You're at home. Carolina's better at home, but at the same time, anytime a team plays harder defense than Carolina they kind of back up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of expecting Virginia to win that one. And then Duke. I mean, it's a toss-up. Duke has already beaten them once this season, but Carolina had a really hard time with Duke's size in the middle, and that was like one of the biggest issues. And they also had a hard time keeping Duke out of the paint, even their guards.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Duke as well, like you mentioned about Virginia playing tough defensively. Duke is pretty tough defensively. Now, scoring's an issue for Duke, but Duke will play you hard on defense.
But you know what? Duke has been scoring as of late, though. That's the crazy part. I mean, they went to Syracuse and had a crazy game, shooting 50% from the team who's the worst three-point shooting team ever in Duke history. But anyway, that's another subject. We're talking about Carolina right now. I don't see Carolina making the tournament, honestly. Like, think about where they were at this point last year, right? They finished the regular season with 8 losses. 8. They have 11 right now. Right? And we were talking before that Duke game, are they going to even make the tournament that time? They're going to have to beat Duke because they don't have a quad one win. Remember, that was the talking point. Yeah. They're going to have to make a run in the ACC tournament because their resume doesn't look good. What is different this year? They have more losses. They still don't have that signature win. Yeah. Their best looking win, which was a quad one at the time, was Ohio State. Ohio State does not look good right now.
Honestly, their best win might be their home win against NC State.
That's true.
That's the world that we live in. This is the world that we live in right now, by the way. Okay, so we're recording this on a Tuesday. Carolina just played against NC State at PNC Arena 2 days ago. Normally in the past, if NC State, who was ranked 23rd, if they would have beat Carolina, been like, oh, you would have moved up in the rankings, right? Okay, you lost Syracuse, but you beat Carolina. If you're NC State, you move up in the rankings. But here's where we are in 2023. NC State beats UNC, and they drop out of the top 25. They drop out. I get it, you lost to Syracuse.
That was worse.
But usually a win against Carolina would balance that out, right? Like, oh, but you beat Carolina. No, you beat Carolina and you fall 3 spots. You're out of the top 25, number 26.
Here's
That's
the part
where we are.
Here's the part that I noticed about Carolina, and I intentionally did this. Before the game started, I wanted to sit courtside, and I wanted to watch both teams. And, I don't want to read too much into things. NC State was in a familiar situation. They're at home. They're comfortable with the locker room, with their surroundings. They've shot in that gym, for a while, that arena for a while, all that good stuff. Cool. They were light. They were happy. They were making jokes. You know what I'm saying? They're shooting around. They're listening to their music. They're doing their thing. They're dapping each other up and everything, and they just seem loose and ready. Carolina comes in. Everybody's just kind of stiff, stoic, and they're just kind of going through the paces. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't any extra energy. There wasn't any of that extra, all right, let's go, guys. Like, all right, yeah, we're going to do this today.
No swagger to them.
You said what?
No swagger to them.
No swagger whatsoever. And there wasn't that person to put them on their back and say, let's go. Like, let's really do it. It wasn't that person. I think Armando Bacot is supposed to be that guy, but it doesn't strike me that is his personality type. Like, even though he has a big personality, it doesn't feel like he's that vocal leader. He's more of a watch what I'm about to do and follow me type of guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's going to be that guy for Carolina, because I just can't see them. They've shown us who they are. And I'm just going to start to believe them. Last year's March, That was just them getting hot. That was an aberration.
That was the exception.
They just happen to get hot, which can happen. But they haven't shown me anything different this year that makes me think that they can do that again. They have the talent to do that. If we still rank their talent, Carolina's one of the most talented teams. They're a top 25 ranked team as far as just talent is concerned. Just talent. So this isn't anything about their talent. I'm not bragging on who they are as far as what they are individually, but collectively, it's not working. And I have no idea why it's not. They just don't seem to make that extra play for the guy next to them. It's about what they can do. And if they can't do it, and if it's not their job, they're out of it.
You know, we saw history a few years ago when Virginia became the first 1 seed to lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament when they lost to UMBC. We might see history this year where UNC being the first ever preseason number 1 ranked team to not make the NCAA tournament.
It's happening.
To not make the tournament. Since the tournament field expanded back in in the mid 80s to what it is right now to 64 teams. Now it's obviously 68. But here's the thing. Also in the past, a preseason number 1, I think, has never been ranked in terms of seeding in the NCAA tournament, never lower than a 3 seed. And UNC might not even get in.
It's crazy.
Yep. It's where we are. It's where we are.
It's an interesting thing. And, they can try to PR their way out of it. They can spin their way out of it as much as they want to. Hubert Davis, I noticed one of the things I noticed that he does. And this is what works for him and his team. You can ask him, well, why don't you guys do this? And he'll take a minute and he'll pause and he'll try to take a positive spin on that. Like, oh, what do you mean? No, I feel like we do this great, blah, 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 blah. We just have to get better. But you're not addressing what's actually happening. Your guys don't work well together. Your guys don't seem like they like each other.
Yep.
Your guys don't seem like if they saw each other without Carolina jerseys on out in public and one of them was getting jumped, I don't know if they jump in to help them out.
Yeah.
I really don't know that. I don't know that if Caleb Love was walking at South Point or something like that and he saw Armando Bacot get jumped, I don't know if he'd jump in to try to help him out. I just don't know. And I'm just pulling 2 names out the hat. I'm just saying 2 names.
Yeah.
But those guys don't seem to go above and beyond for each other. And sometimes you just have to read the vibes. You could tell the teams that like each other. You could tell the teams that don't like each other. And for some reason, this team, they don't like each other.
Don't know what it is. Don't know what it is. This thing, we're not at practice. We're not around on campus, things like that. The only thing we see is what everyone else sees, right? And some obviously we get the access in the locker rooms. But that's it. That's simple as that. You're right. This team just doesn't seem like they mesh well together. They don't get along. NC State's the opposite. The team they just beat, their team that just beat them. NC State is the complete opposite. Those guys have fun together. Those guys love each other. And Keats built a pretty good roster this season. But yeah, for some reason, UNC, I don't know. They just thought that things were just going to magically click like it did last March. It's just not. And I don't see it happening again this year. That's my final thought. 2022, that March ain't happening in 2023. Calling it right now.
Here's one that I have 2 thoughts that I would like to just put out there, and then we can end it. I think that after all this is said and done, we look back in a few years, we're going to realize what good of a job Hubert Davis is doing holding this together. Roy Williams saw something, and it made him go, I don't know if I want to deal with this right now. I don't know if I want to deal with this right now. Yeah. Because I got the feeling if Roy Williams stuck around, he probably would have been like, you know what? You can transfer if you want to. You can go ahead and go pro if you want to. I'll just start over with a whole group of guys. And Carolina would have been, dealing with other things, and he had to deal with NIL, blah, 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 blah. But Hubert Davis, swept in. Hey, guys, let's hold this thing together. We'll be good. I've got you. And these guys fought for Hubert Davis last year. But when you don't like each other, it's only so much the coach can do.
Yep.
I think we're gonna learn in a few years how good of a job Hubert Davis is doing just holding this together right now. So I don't think this is any indication of Hubert Davis whatsoever. We're gonna find out that he's doing a great job because it could have been worse. It also makes me think of Dawson Garcia from last year.
Yeah.
My man lost his grandmother and left the team. And I get it. Things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Deaths in the family happen, that type of thing. But when is the last time you've seen somebody lose a family member and leave the team? Now, we talked to Andre Dawkins on this show before. He lost his sister. He kept playing for a couple years, but he didn't need that 1 year. Coach K came up to him and said, take a year off.
Yeah.
You need it because you need some time to reset. It's obviously impacting you. But as many people that play college sports, of course there's people, they lose people and all that. And, of course, you take your time off and that type of thing. And then they were asked, that this group of guys was asked about Dawson Garcia late in the season during the NCAA tournament run. And they kind of all look at each other and kind of chuckle, and you could tell there's beef there. You could tell that they didn't like that guy. You could tell he didn't like them. He's like the black sheep. And it makes me wonder if some of that is still there. Whoever is contributing to that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever made Dawson Garcia leave is still there within that team. And we're seeing it manifest right now. Now, I may not know what I'm talking about, but this is just something that I'm looking at and I'm witnessing, and people forget about him, but I'm just like, that meant something.
Yeah.
It said something about this group. We're going to probably know in a few years, again, how good of a job Hubert Davis is actually doing. Because whatever is going on needs to be cleared out. I don't know if that is a particular person. I don't know if that's just, some guys having a come to Jesus moment and clearing the air, whatever it is. But whatever is happening needs to get cleared out. And I think that we have to look at everything in totality when it comes to this group. And there's a reason why everything fits together. And we got a little sprinkle of it last year with Dawson Garcia leaving.
I didn't think about the Dawson Garcia part. That's a really good point. Did not think of that at all. Well, one thing I do know, Chris, is that we're coming back Saturday, March 4th, 10 to noon on 99.9 The Fan, also streaming on WRLSportsFan.com. So we're going to be live on Saturdays starting March 4th. We're going to run all the way through April. So we got 2 months. Culture State Saturdays are back. Also, make sure you like that subscribe button or we'll drop that like and subscribe button right here on our YouTube page. That way you don't miss any of the content that we put out, whether it's from our Saturday shows or other clips like this. So make sure you do that as well. We'll see you on Saturdays.